This is Lindsay. It's Wednesday, July 30th, 2025. And I just want to say, I want to talk more about this blatant harassment, smear campaign stuff that they're doing, that these people affiliated with these gang stalkers and flying monkeys and whatever harassing me, government, military, CIA, all these fucking dumb, organizations and alphabet agencies. And yeah, that's who's doing it. I mean, it'd be silly for me to not know that after all my whistleblowing and speaking out against corruption. So it's pretty obvious that I mean, if they think I'm that blind to not see that, then they should probably think again, because I can. All their tactics have gotten really old, because I can already predict certain things that are going to happen when I go to the gym, like depending on what location I go to and what had happened the day before, and how they start to kiss your ass and start changing their behavior whenever you complain, or whenever you call them out for their bullshit, or you walk away and ignore them and don't respond. Because these people literally, like, if they think that I'm crazy and mentally ill, they're making sure that they put a bunch of fucking crazy people around me to try to get me to react and babysit these people. That's what they're doing to me, like making me feel like I'm some kind of a unpaid helper at some kind of a goddamn fucking rehab or mental hospital, or some veterans PTSD clinic, or a clinic where people are coming off drugs or whatever. Because a lot of the people that go to these gyms, I've noticed, are either on drugs, they're on some kind of mental medication, or they're coming down from some kind of drug, or they're alcoholics or whatever. And you can see from just talking to them that their behavior, the way they behave, is very childish and very annoying and very intrusive, like they're desperate for attention or reaction from people. And it's exhausting. It's physically, mentally exhausting for me to go through that. First of all, the driving that I do to get to certain gyms, and all the fucking infrastructure that they're doing, all the bogus construction work that they're tearing up the streets for no reason. They're doing this. Listen, I know, and I'm repeating myself, because I know that a lot of people cannot begin to wrap their mind around what narcissistic abuse is unless you have experienced this kind of trauma in your life, or bloodline harassment and whatnot. And I assure you that I'm not exaggerating about any of this stuff, what I'm talking about. And I'm only making these videos so that I can document it for my own purposes, and also for legal purposes, because at some point I mean, this needs to be, these people need to be held accountable for these kinds of crimes, because it's basically reverse discrimination, and it's a form of severe harassment. And they shouldn't be able to get away with this kind of stuff, targeting certain people, scapegoating certain people. And somebody who talked about this at length before they killed him, or before he died prematurely, is a man who I was friends with. Never met him in person, but he's somebody who I used to talk to on the phone a lot, and also on email sometimes, was Wayne Morin Jr. And that was back around 2016 or 2017, when I first moved to San Antonio. And that man, at that point, I was reaching out to certain people who were on my Facebook, or these people were trying to, actually, I first talked to Karen Melton Stewart. She was a friend on Facebook, because she knows about NSA whistleblowing and whatnot. So I had talked to Karen Melton Stewart about my situation, and trying to get help, or telling her what was going on at that house on Canton Street, and how I was being set up and entrapped by my own family, and what they were trying to do to me. And so I talked to her, and then somehow she got me connected with that Wayne Morin Jr., who is a targeted individual who lives in California. He's from San Francisco Bay Area, and he had spent most of his adult life in a mental institution. in Sonoma Valley or Sonoma, like the wine country, basically where he kind of grew up or where he lived around that area outside of San Francisco. Nonetheless, he had a lot of generational abuse in his family, and he talks a lot about that in his videos, and he's written a book as well. But he's passed away. He died a couple years ago, actually. I don't know how he died, but it seems kind of weird that he died. He was pretty young. And so a lot of targeted individuals, when you start talking about this stuff, and I'm the one who told Wayne. I told Wayne about Scott Hensler. I'm the one who got those two connected because they ended up doing several podcasts together. But I thought that Scott Hensler would be a good match for Wayne Morin Jr. So I told Wayne about Scott Hensler, and I also told another person about Wayne Morin Jr., who's someone who I don't talk to anymore, but he was somebody who was supposedly a targeted individual, this military man named Thomas, somebody from New Mexico, who was in the Coast Guard. But I also had told him about Wayne Morin Jr., and they ended up meeting in person. I don't talk to these people anymore. These people are some of them are a little bit too far out there. Like some of these people I just don't have contact anymore. But I was in contact with Karen Melton Stewart. I was in contact with Dr. Eric Karlstrom, Wayne Morin Jr., Thomas, this guy named Thomas, I forget his last name right now, but he was a targeted individual. So over my life, over the past many years, I've been in contact with lots of different kind of more high profile targeted individuals who really, have had a lot of YouTube exposure or BitChute and interviews with other people on their channels and whatnot. And most of these people end up dying. They end up dying in mysterious ways, or they get killed, or they die prematurely from different things. And a lot of that has to do with them being targeted and blowing the whistle. If you're a real whistleblower, you're going to suffer. You're going to have a lot of health problems. Probably you're going to... When you're a whistleblower against the government and against political Zionism, and when you mention things about the Jews and political Zionism and all this shit, that's when they really target you. Because that's what Wayne Morin Jr. had been doing. That's what Dr. Eric Karlstrom does. And whenever you talk about and a lot of these people could be controlled opposition. A lot of them are controlled opposition, but some of them are not, And I've been researching these people and listening to them for many, many years now. And so I know that people like those definitely have a lot of enemies in the military arena and government, because all you have to do is say a couple things that are against the agenda of the political social communist agenda, political communism or socialism, and say something about political Zionism, or say something about you don't agree with the official 9/11 narrative, or you don't agree with the COVID hoax, coronavirus hoax, or anything like that, they'll put you on a list. You're going to get put on a list. You're going to be targeted. You're going to be gang stalked. You're going to be labeled as mentally ill and unstable and delusional and all these things that they come up with when people can think for themselves and who don't follow the mainstream agenda of conformity. It's just simply for people. It's just simply thinking out of the box, really, or thinking differently because you're a threat. People who don't conform to what mainstream media and what they want you to, you become such a threat to these people because they're so accustomed to wearing a mask and being, they just can't handle people who go against their agenda, and they're so used to getting their way with people and manipulating people and abusing people, especially a lot of women like myself. Whenever you're someone like myself who's a targeted individual, because most women are, I don't fall into any category of what your traditional, it's just I'm different, and they want to try to, if they can't put you into a category to try to define you, then they don't understand you, and that makes them mad because they feel that they can't have control over a person if you become too unpredictable or too whatever. That's what makes these people mad, and so they send out all these stupid fucking flying monkey narcissists to gang stalk you and harass you and to try to smear your name. And especially when you piss off one of the main ringleaders, who usually these people are involved with drug dealing or pimping. They do all kinds of shady crap to make. They're drug dealers mostly, and they're doing all kinds of nefarious things to make money, but they have a squeaky clean reputation at their fucking job, where they wear probably a suit, and they put on an act. It's all an act, because really who they are, that's not who they are. It's just a big fucking act, because it's all about their image and their status and about showing off what they have. But around you, they treat you like shit. They treat you differently. You see who they really are, but they're so fake, because like I said, for them, it's all about getting attention and being accepted and being the most popular. Or with some of these men, it's just disgusting things about who's got the biggest fucking penis and crap like that. I sorry to sound so vulgar, but that's how these men are, especially the ones that are low class, more not educated. That's a mentality that deep down in their DNA, that's how they think. If they're not very educated or enlightened, that's how they think. They're very primitive and barbaric. And so they see women mostly as just sex objects or something to exploit and something to entertain them. And if you don't do that, if that's not what your role is around these individuals, they'll discard you, they'll trash your name, they'll mock you, they'll exploit you, and then try to shame you when you reject them. Or you basically, if you reject them or discard them, or they do whatever, this is what they do, because their ego can't handle that. And especially when you expose them and talk about what they've done to you, then they try to reverse it to make it look like you're the perpetrator, when in fact, no, they come into your life, they target you for financial reasons, usually to exploit you in other ways, or to try to embarrass you or humiliate you. And then when you reverse it and start, telling them no, then that's when, because they're not used to the word no. They're used to getting everything their way. And so they're all over the goddamn place, and especially these fucking machista, narcissistic Chicano. A lot of them you'll find that a lot of these men are Chicano men, Mexican Americans, who have a big fucking ego, and they're little mama boy, their mama's boys, little spoiled brats with incestuous relationships with their mother. Or they're just very narcissistic, and they cheat, they lie, they use women as sex objects, and they're just real assholes. Once you get to know most of them, they're real jerks, real fucking mean. But they'll treat, it's just bizarre. It's really weird, because it's a cultural thing where, these men see, it's just disgusting. And I've seen it so many times with some of these men, Chicanos or different cultures. They just see women as objects, like you're just supposed to be there to please a man. And it's disgusting. It really is, because that's not my job. That's not who I am. If I was that, then I would have had a fucking kid and I would have been married, but neither of which I wanted. So I made the decisions that I didn't want that shit, because I'm not going to be somebody's goddamn punching bag or object to be lied to and exploited by these shit fucks, because that's what they are. They cheat anyway. They're all the same. They're always looking for something different, something better, and then they get that, and then they discard that because they get bored, and then they try to go back to their old supplier, their old ex, and then they get with them for a few months, and they get sick of that, and then move on to someone new. This is they always try to go back to their ex. Always, these people, they always think that they can just go back and rotate go back into the harem garage and find their ex and try to get back with them after maybe a year, 2 years, maybe 3 years, whatever, several months. They just think that, I'm just gonna just come on and show back up in their life like nothing ever happened. And that's what a lot of them do. And you should never, I've learned the difficult lesson is that never, when they come back after you've discarded them or rejected them or whatever happened in that situation, shit, or whatever the fuck they're trying to do to you, don't ever open the door again to these demons, because it's nothing. They're gonna cause so many fucking problems. You're gonna see the stuff that they do to destroy your life, your reputation, your finances, your health. It really does. It is real, because I'm a living example of what these people will do to you when you call them out, expose them for their fucking bisexuality, for example, or closet gayness, which a lot of them are, or the fact that maybe they have some fucking STD that they don't tell you about, like herpes or something like that they try to keep secret, or whatever it is that they're trying to hide from you. It's going to all come out because they try to keep that a secret because of their ego. And but it comes out because you'll see the way they behave and the way they start abusing you. Whenever you figure things out, they start literally abusing you psychologically and sometimes physically and sexually. And so stay away. It's better to be alone than with these kinds of toxic people, because they are deep. They're literally. I never really realized how serious this stuff is until I got entangled with some of the wrong people. And whenever you ignore your intuition about people, but you always, like I've said, it never fails. Your intuition and gut feelings about certain individuals, when you get that bad feeling about a first impression about certain people and what their motives are, you really need to, I mean, at least with me, it's best to really try to remember that, and try to remember those feelings that you initially get when you're around a person, because that's their energy that's trying to tell you something. Their negativity or their energy is projecting something that you need to pay attention to, because you'll get it. It'll happen within the first few minutes of knowing that and talking to that person. You'll see it. You'll already have some kind of weird feeling, and you already feel that, and that you can't really go back once you've already gotten that strange intuition from somebody. That's God. That's a God gift right there, warning you about certain situations or people or whatever. And so it's just really, because these people will kill you. If they don't do it themselves, they'll send other people to try to do it, and they'll do weird. They do a lot of witchcraft on you. They'll make you feel like you're under some kind of a spell. They'll literally like hire people to harass you and do weird stuff to try to kill you or to try to destroy your health, your finances, everything. And it's real. It's real, because a lot of these people, if they're not doing some kind of weird voodoo stuff, whatever that is, I don't know, that African or Cuban voodoo, I don't know what it is, some kind of weird, a lot of them are into that. Because this man that I was involved with, he's into that shit. He was all into that kind of crap, and I know he was, because he was a fucking demon, literally a demon. I saw that. I saw his eyes turn black. He's like a fucking demon-possessed person. And so, because they're into that kind of thing. They do all kinds of weird stuff that you would never know about. That's why they never allow you into their, they keep all these secrets, yet they come into your life, invade your privacy, your life, your resources, and everything, but they keep all these secrets from you. And when people do that, that right there is the biggest warning to stay away from them, that there's something wrong. And then they'll get people from their family to harass you, but they'll use people as flying monkeys to try to trigger you with the same kind of name as people who they're related to try to mess with you at the workplace or the gym or whatever, to try to trigger you and to basically monitor your reaction with those people. And it's always a trap, because they've done this to me a lot. They try to entrap you with speech, or saying something, or embarrassing you, or doing things to make you feel uncomfortable. These people are just, they're just sick. They're mentally sick, mostly alcoholics. Mostly they're alcoholics. The people that do this are mostly real sick with the disease of alcoholism. And these gyms, like, there's like this, you can, some of these people like smell of alcohol. Like there's this one man, they just smell, you can smell the scent of poison or alcohol or demons on them. They just have a bad aura, a bad energy about them. And it's actually kind of creepy. It's creepy the way they stalk certain people, the way they hover around you and spy on you and it's very creepy what they'll do, some of them. And you can tell that a lot of them are just lying, that they lie about things, that they're just liars, and it's somebody sent them to try to gather information about you, or to try to do things. And that place is so, like, these places become toxic places. And today when I went to in the parking lot, I could just smell all this as I'm walking into the gym this morning over there at Walsham and 78. There's this odor of marijuana everywhere. You could smell the marijuana just all over in the parking lot, like walking towards the entrance, just this heavy odor of like kind bud or some kind of high grade marijuana all over the parking lot. Okay. And so then I get in there inside the gym, and there's a guy in the park. There's a guy who when I pulled up, there's this man who's in the parking lot, and I've seen him there sometimes, and he kind of looks at me. I've never spoken with him. I've heard him talk a few times. He usually associates himself with some of his friends or these black guys, and he seems like a nice guy. I suspect he's some kind of military or police or FBI or something along that line. That's the vibe I get from him. But he always looks at me with a real serious look. I don't feel offended by him, and I don't feel afraid of him, and I don't feel like he's anybody who's a threat. I just notice that he's always got like a real serious look on his face whenever he sees me. He like a look of curiosity, or like he's perplexed, or he's just confused, or he's concerned. Those are the feelings that I get when I've made a little bit of eye contact with this man. And so it makes me wonder, well, what's his story? Who is he? Is he military? Some kind of is he some kind of a PTSD? Something. I don't know, because I don't know his name. I don't know any of these people by name. I'm only a few of the people there. But like I said, I've noticed that he's there sometimes, and I've seen him. I've run into him a few times at HEB, or not run into him, but I've seen him a few times at the HEB over there at McCreeless. And actually, I saw him a couple weeks ago. He was in the deli department. I know it was him because I recognize him. He was wearing, I think he had on a baseball cap though, and different clothes, like not his gym attire. But he was over there by the meat delicatessen, and I know it was him because I recognized him, and I just kind of smiled and walked by. He's an attractive guy. He's real attractive. I'm sure he knows that. So I'm sure he's married with kids, and I'm not going to interfere with that. But he's definitely a very attractive man. He's probably 25 years old. 30 years old or something. I don't know. But, there's always, what they'll do with me is they make sure sometimes to make sure that they'll surround me with these men that are like really attractive sometimes, or they're much younger, or they'll, to try to get me embarrassed, or to try to get me to react. Or then they'll surround me with these people that are just disgusting kind of people that are perverts, like older men that look like perverts, that try to get, that's what they'll do to try to see how I react to different kinds of people. Because there's all kinds of people that go to these gyms, but I tend to get, and nobody really talks to me. I'm just saying I've made eye contact with some of these people, but I'm just, you can't help but notice certain people if you see them on a regular basis, But there's some people there who are very, very attractive. There's some people who are not. So, but that's not how I judge people anyway. It's more about their personality most of the time. But there are some people that, that definitely, they go around and they know that they're that, and they know you see it. You see the way they behave, that they're just kind of arrogant, but that doesn't mean that they're necessarily bad people. But this guy's really attractive. It's like, oh God, what is he? There's always attractive men that are at the gym, or attractive men around. But I'm not out there. If they, they're not interested in me, and then that's fine. I'm just saying, you see them all over the place. But it's weird because he was in the parking lot when I was going into the gym, and he was just looking at me kind of strange, like kind of looking at me kind of as I drove up. I could see him kind of looking at my car, or kind of looking at me, and whatever. I don't take it offensively, because like I said, I don't even know this man. I have no idea, don't know anything about him. I just suspect that he's military. he might even be part African. He may be half black and half white. I don't even know, because he's got all his friends are, well, who knows I don't know. He might even have like a black girlfriend or black wife or black mother or something. I don't know, because I always see him with, and one time I remember I saw him at the store probably like a year ago or something. I think I saw him at HEB, and he was with some black woman, an older, maybe his mother or his friend, but she was an older African American woman, and he was at the HEB with her. Maybe that's his relative or his friend or girlfriend, or who knows. So I don't know if that guy's like half black or half white or half Hispanic and half black. I do not know. I just know that I see him there sometimes, and he just kind of looks at me with this kind of strange, puzzled, curious look, and I'm like, okay, well, it's just, I'm curious too. I'm like, I wonder what this guy's deal is, or what's his story, because he looks like, I think he looks like an FBI, investigator, or some kind of a sheriff or police or military for sure. The way he behaves, he definitely is some kind of officer of some kind. I think that some kind of intelligence officer. That's just what I think from watching him, or because I can observe people as well, because I can tell by the way military men behave. They're more disciplined. You know, like a lot of the one thing I like about military men is that they're not, after they've been in the military for a few years, they're usually disciplined. They're more serious behaving. They don't behave like little fucking children. They have a more sort of serious demeanor because of what they've probably seen and experienced, and a lot of them probably have PTSD. So they are more mature as far as like their behavior. And so that's something that I respect, because I grew up around military grandparents and military background, so I can relate to that and respect that, because I don't like being around a bunch of fucking immature people that act like children and behave like fucking children and constantly try to talk and distract you. Like some of the people they do send me to fuck with me and distract me when I take these things very seriously. It bothers the shit out of me when they do that to me at the gym. So anyway, that happened. I saw him. I smelled all the marijuana in the parking lot. And then I go in there and I noticed some new people in there, or people I've never really seen before, or whatever. I don't know. I got there at like 8 o'clock or 8:30. I'm not sure exactly what time it was. But there's this one woman on a treadmill. There's a really tall black man. He sometimes gets on a treadmill next to me, or sometimes he's on the one that I like. And he's I don't know he seems really athletic. He's real tall, and I don't know. He seems kind of I don't know what to think about that man. Except he can be. Sometimes I get a good vibe out of him, or sometimes I feel kind of a little bit intimidated, or feelings about him as far as like who he might be or what, because he seems like he knows something, but he seems also real kind of wise in his own kind of way. And I've noticed sometimes he'll get at the treadmill before he starts his exercise, and he kind of meditates or does a little prayer thing. And then I noticed that the machine smells like it smells like kind of like patchouli, like some kind of natural like some sort of something like something like it smells good. It smells like a nice odor of what is cologne or whatever it is. He leaves like a scent that smells really good after he leaves a treadmill. So he smells nice. He has a nice he dresses well. He looks like he's somebody. He's one. He's a well-behaved man, I've noticed, but he's kind of like also like, well, is this guy also some kind of agent of some kind, or works with the police or something? This tall black man, real tall, athletic black man. I'm like, what's his story? Like I said, I don't know these people by name, but I notice that some of them, I see these people a lot there. Certain people that, And then oh God, so I'm on the treadmill, and there's this man. No, and then I'm like, oh God, I'm thinking, and I go to the bathroom when I get there to go use a ladies' room, and I see that dude on that older man on the fucking using some kind of a machine. I'm like, oh no, it's like I just kind of I'm not gonna be rude to him. I'm just kind of act like I don't, because usually what he'll do is, lately whenever I first, he's just like somebody who I think is lonely and he wants to. No, I'll tell you what happened. Okay, I went into the locker room this morning, and some woman walked in there, and I had on. This is a thing, and these are the patterns that I recognize. I was like, oh, I don't know what. They know that I struggle with my hair issues, or that I'm changing my hair stuff around sometimes, or the color of the whatever. And so I went in there today with one that's a little bit a different color, right? Depending on what fucking color it is. And I was like, should I wear this one or not? And I was like, okay, whatever. I'll just go ahead and wear it. I don't care. So I went with that one. And I walked in there, and this woman who I see there sometimes, hi, how are you? I'm like, oh, okay. She's all like acting kind of like, but it was weird because it seems not natural. Like, hi, how? It was like sort of like, and I was like, I just kind of looked at her and just sort of nodded because I didn't want to engage in conversation with anybody. I don't know who this woman is, but I was like, another person who's watching me, keeping tabs on me, though, I'm sure. Like all these people are. They are, and I know that they are. I don't know who they're reporting all this shit to. But a lot of these people are definitely keeping tabs on me, or being paid to like go and kind of like monitor me, whatever. And I, like I said, I'm nice to people. I know how to maintain a calm atmosphere and keep my cool around people, even if I don't know them or feel. I just stay to myself and whatever. That's just how I am. And these people are always trying to test my reactions, testing me and provoking me. And I just ignore. I just don't respond. I just don't respond to any of it, really. Because I see what you can see the patterns of what they do whenever, like with that man the other day when I was on the treadmill and he came over there, and I was just like, I'm not in the mood for him to start fucking talking to me today and distracting me. I really want to be, because he talks, and it's like I'm trying to fucking focus on what I'm doing, and he won't shut up sometimes, and I can barely understand what he's saying sometimes, and it's like I've been nice to him. I already know, okay, yeah, that's it. I don't want to get more involved with this man. I know that he's married. I don't want to get in the middle of all that fucking drama with some of these people. Because it makes me look like a bad person. It makes me look crazy. It makes me look desperate. Because these men, in a way, they're hitting. It's like they like what he did with that, giving me that vitamin drink that's like a red vitamin acne berry with all these. It's like, what's a real. Okay, there's always a hidden motive behind the grapes, red ruby, and it's like, oh, Ruby Center, is that supposed to make me think of Art Pay? It's like all these fucking things that they're doing to try to trigger me. His little Polo brand eyeglasses, and he looks like a fucking little Jewish. Sorry, but when you look at him, he looks like a little Jew pervert just from the way he looks. Yet he's Mexican, but is this man putting on a fucking act? Because he doesn't look at all Hispanic. He looks like a little Jewish pervert. He looks. And I know how some of these Jewish men look. He looks like a little Jew pervert. Like, he acts and looks like a little obnoxious, neurotic Jew. He's hyperactive. He acts like he's on cocaine. It's like, are you fucking on cocaine or what, dude? Like, just calm down. It's like he gets over there and he's like a jittery little Jew jumping up and down like a fucking child. That's how he behaves, like a fucking 5-year-old. And supposedly he's 75 years old, but he's very adult, Arrested Development behavior. Very much so. I could tell from talking to him that he's like severe Arrested Development or like he's on something. He's just crazy. And it's like, okay, he's nice, he's friendly, but there's something about him that makes me uncomfortable. I'm not saying he's all, I see that he's got a good heart and good qualities at the same time, but he's fucking annoying. And he's hitting on me and making me feel uncomfortable in a way, so I don't like that. And so the other day, I got up off the fucking treadmill and just went into the other room where that cardio cinema shit, and I got on a different treadmill. It was like burning up hot in there because but I was like, I don't care. I just need to get away from this man. Please, he's bothering me. It's making me, I want to focus on I just drove all this fucking way to get here. I want to focus on what I'm here for, not to sit here and chit chat with a 75-year-old married man who I can't really understand his fucking English hardly. And I'm not in the mood to fucking speaking Spanish, I'm not getting fucking paid to go there. This takes a lot of my fucking energy, Shit. And what do I get out? I don't get anything out. Nobody's paying me anything to go through all this shit and be a fucking scapegoat for a bunch of fucking mentally ill perverts. Some of them fucking perverts. Go to the old... My suggestion for some of these men, if you're a married man and you're in your 70s or 80s or whatever, good. Go to a fucking geriatrics gym with all the fucking other perverts and don't hit on me. And so today... He gets next to this. I was like, oh God, thank God he didn't get on the treadmill next to me. I was like, I feel relieved. Good. He's going to leave me alone because I just need to focus on what I'm doing. He gets on a treadmill next to this other girl who's wearing like a little short skirt and a little tank top, this probably Hispanic girl, whatever, who I've never seen her there before. But he gets next to her and I could hear them talking. Or I wasn't listening to what they're saying, but I could hear that they're in some kind of conversation. Like, good, he's got a girlfriend or whatever. Good, let him have that woman and let her deal with him, because I don't want to deal with that anymore. Let him move on to the next person, because I pretty much already let him know that I'm not gonna fall for your fucking shit. I'm not your object to your therapist or whatever. So good, move on to someone else, please. Thank you. Now leave me alone. Thanks. And I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm there for other reasons, not to fucking chit-chat with a man that looks like a little Jew pervert. Sorry, but you trigger my mind too much into other toxic shit, and I'm not in the fucking mood for that right now, okay? I don't want to deal with that. And they know what they're doing. This is part of the fucking gaslighting shit to trigger me. And for them to not think that I don't see that, you better think again. So that's why I'm documenting this kind of shit. Because he was flirting with her. I guess they already know each other, and quite frankly, I don't really care. But if he doesn't, she's gonna get. He's gonna. I think what he does, from what I can tell, is that he moves on from one. He tries to hit on different women there, in maybe the exercise classes or the aerobics classes or whatever. He probably hits on all these different women that are half his age, or whatever. He doesn't even probably care, because he's a narcissist. Narcissists don't care how old you are. They're just looking for supply and attention. They could, or they come in all ages and sizes, and this man's a little fucking narcissist. And he's a pervert. He's a pervert. I could see, you can feel the perverted, there's something about him. Maybe he's a sex offender, or maybe he's gotten in trouble at his workplace for being a pervert or hitting on women. That's just what I think. I don't know him, but from what I can tell, is that men like that are married, they're always looking for chasing skirts. Skirt chasers, okay? He's a typical Mexican, Chicano, Mexican-American, or Mexican skirt chaser. And actually, I think he's actually from Mexico and living here for a long time, so he's got his probably papers and all that shit, but he's this fucking skirt chaser. I wonder if his wife knows about that. Maybe she should be informed that her husband's out there fucking hitting on women, chasing skirts, giving little gifts that have hidden meanings, because he wants to get... Ultimately, what he's trying to do is hook up with somebody, because these little men are fucking sex perverts. It doesn't matter if they're 50, 60, 70, 80. They're still... That's how they are. And that's what he's trying to do. I can see it. And so I'm just warning that lady, beware. If you don't know this man already, or maybe you do know him, he's a skirt chaser. He's going to start doing the same thing to you that he tried to do with me, and I rejected him. I just kindly kind of walked away And that's what I had to do because I don't want to start a fight. I don't want to start engaging in any kind of whatever. I just have to professionally walk the fuck away for my own sanity and protection. Because the next thing you know, they'll start a fucking smear campaign and say that I did something that I didn't do. That's why you have to watch out for mentally ill people who try to take advantage of people who they think are dumb. And I'm not dumb. I'm not stupid because I've been through this shit over and over and over again throughout the past, I don't know how many fucking years, at workplaces, at the gym, whatever. So I just ignore them. Once I get the fucking red flags and my intuition kicks in, that's it. No more. Don't fuck with me. They can't. That's I already know. I can feel. I can sense it. So that's it. I just walk away in a kind way, but walk away. And that's all you can do with some of these people, because a lot of them you can feel. I can feel their toxicity. I can feel the vibes of whatever their demons. Demons. They have demons. They have weird demons attached to them. I don't think these people know about soul tie connections or whatever it is, but they still have these weird fucking demon energies connected to them, and I am not there to fucking cleanse your fucking demons or be your fucking therapist. No. That's not my job. That's not what I'm there for. I'm not there to be your therapist. I'm not there to be your fucking stepping stone or stepping stool. No.